Magandang araw, magandang gabi, hello!
Hello!
Nasaan panig man kayo ng mundo? Nandito na naman ang inyong mga kasityo. Hi, I'm Christy Domingo with my friends.
I'm Rhoda from Chicago.
I'm Joy, nasa Las Vegas.
Ooh.
Wow! Wala siya sa Canada ngayon. Okay, nasa Las Vegas. Okay, what are you doing there, Joy?
Just visiting a friend, spending time with her.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to the strip, just spending quality time with my friend.
Yes. It's very important, you know, when you to build relationships, right?
Yes.
Okay. So today we have another very interesting episode for you. This is actually part 2 of a series, you know, on Filipino words that are difficult to translate. Okay? So, umpisa na tayo.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's dive
Sabi
in.
nga nila, begin the begin. Okay. Sige. So yung first word natin, okay, tampo.
Tampo.
How would you say that in English? Tampo or nagtatampo ako sa'yo? Paano ba sabihin?
May grudge ako. I have a grudge against you. Parang ganon.
I have a grudge.
Oo, pero ang grudge masyado namang mabigat. Yung tampo kasi is may lambing siya eh, you know? You're not really mad, you know? Tsaka minsan nga pag sabi natin malamig, tatampo ko sa'yo. May tampo ako. 'Di ba ganon? Parang may lambing. So, how would you say that? Ikaw, Rhoda, do you ever make tampo?
You know, I think this word is very much like a reflection of the Filipino culture, you know, where it's like the never-ending guessing game, you know, of ano ba, galit ka ba, masaya ka ba, you know, parang we never would, you know, it's hard for us to sort of be direct to people, and that's the reason why maybe it's hard to translate. Kasi nga sa English, you know, you don't make tampo, you know, you go right away and said, I didn't like what you did today, and please don't do that again, you know. And I think I'm sure yung mga nasa cross-cultural relationships, like me, you know, those are things that I have to learn, you know, that it's okay for me to say directly. I don't have to like wait 2 weeks later and say, hey, you know, I'm kind of I'm being quiet because 2 weeks ago, this is what you did. Yeah.
Ang Filipinos hindi straightforward, ganun
Oo,
ba?
hindi talaga straightforward. So,
kaya yun ang
sa atin kasi, in the Filipino culture, parang part na yung kultura yung pagtatampo, right? So ikaw, if you're Filipino and you're in that relationship, dapat alam mo na nagtatampo siya, right? Kahit hindi niya sinasabi na may tampo siya. And eventually, sabi, may tampo ako sa'yo, hindi ka nagalit, right? So yeah, so there is, I don't know, is there really an English translation?
Kasi for Americans or Canadians, di ba? Don't they have the same feeling at times, you know? There's something inside of them that they can't really tell you right away. So, may tampo sila, pero, you know, or are they always really pretty straightforward?
Well, I would say majority of Americans are pretty straightforward. But there are also things that you don't say. There are a lot of things that in this culture that you don't think aloud. You know, you don't just say if you're being critical to other people, you don't just say. But obviously there are also other people. I know some Americans who would keep grudges. I think that's part of human behavior too, where you keep everything inside you and you just don't say it. But I also know that most Americans, and again, you know, that I know in my community, in my circle, we don't really keep things for a long period of time. Obviously, there are others, you know, who would, you know, like kinikim-kim, right? Yung mga galit or yung mga tampo, but it's very rare. You know, our memories of people or relationships is very short term. Walang long term memory na, 10 years ago, ganito, ganyan, But I'm sure there are other people who kind of dive into that kind of pit of relationships with other
Pero
people.
di ba ang tampo is temporal? Kasi iba yan sa galit right?
Yeah, oo. Parang it
Tampo
shouldn't
is
last long.
Right. Kasi
Mhm.
tampo is pwede
Yeah.
mong suyuin, pwede mong,
Yeah. Oo.
I think that's why grudge is not a good translation. Kasi a grudge can be forever.
Yeah.
Ang tampo kasi parang, ay, may tampo siya. Lapitan mo na. Mga ganun ba?
Oo.
Hindi siya pangmatagalan.
A good
Right?
point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Kaya, which is weird because we don't have a direct translation. Pwede mo i-translate pero dami-dami mong words for English.
He
You have to
explained
explain it. Diba?
Talaga, ito yung mga words talaga na kasi nga cultural ang context, no? So we really can't give one specific word for it. Yung talagang wala siya talagang specific translation. It has to be explained, like you said, in so many words. Okay, pero yun nga, to explain it in so many words, so it's like a grudge, but it's not long-standing. It shouldn't be that deep. So parang ganun ang it's like a grudge but not long-standing and not emotionally draining.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So next word, giggle. Okay. How would you express giggle in English?
Parang bold film
Ibang context na yan, ha? Giggle.
Oh, nakakagigil.
Parang naughty yun. Pag giggle na sexy yun. Naughty film. Giggle. Or halimbawa yung context, yung gigigil sa baby. Kagigil. How would you say that when you go giggle over a baby?
Because giggle is more like an kind of the sound of the sound of the feeling, which is like ganyan.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yes.
So parang hindi naman siya fully onomatopoeic, right? But it's more like the sound of it, like nakagigil, ganyan, right?
It's
I
like
don't
you
know.
want to
squeeze.
pinch the cheeks.
Squeeze.
Yeah.
Yes.
Squeeze.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
but
cheeks
it
of a
also
baby, diba?
it also involves like the urge, uncontrollable urge. You want to squeeze or pinch, but even without doing it, you're already feeling it. Diba?
Yes.
You just want to squeeze that cute baby. But we also use giggle for angry.
Yes. Ako, I sometimes say that,
right.
Huwag mo kung hawag mo ko, nanggigigil na ako sa'yo. Pag when I get mad at my kids, ganun, minsan nasasabi ko yun. Tigilan mo ako, nanggigigil na ako. Ayun.
Yeah.
So pagka ganyan, how do you say that in English? Kaya mahirap pag lumipat kami ng Amerika or no? Tapos, so sinabi mo yun, tapos niya, hey, what's that? What did you just say? Kasi translate mo pa para sa mga pamangkin mo or whoever is in the house.
Yeah, you can use it for anger. You can also use it for sensual emotion. Like, remember yung hagibis, nanggigigil kami sa iyong kagandahan. That's not, they're not gonna pinch you, but it's a different kind of giggle, right?
Yeah.
Sensual feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of this multi kind of feelings, kind of extreme feelings of different things, right? So in English, we don't have that word because we would just say, oh my gosh, she's really, so we do things like that. OMG. Like, so I don't know. It's kind of a
no translation
emotion with no translation.
So how do Americans or Canadians show giggle? What would they say, when they have that emotion of giggle?
You just say, I just want to kiss you, or I just want to You know, whatever you want to do in extreme feeling. I could just kill her right now, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pero kulang pa rin no? Hindi,
Yeah.
Oo,
It's
hindi siya
oo.
direct translation.
Yeah, it doesn't capture talaga kung ano yung feeling ng gigil, di ba? In whatever context, di ba? Yung
Right.
gigil sa baby, gigil ng pag nagagalit ka, or yung gigil nga ng in a sensual nature, sensual context. Okay, next word. Kilig.
Diba? Pinsan ng gigil yan
Oo, magkamag-anak. Kilig. Pero ito naman, alam mo yon yung feeling ng butterflies in the stomach na sinasabi ng ganyan, di ba? Oo, kilig. Oo. So, syempre lahat naman may ganong feeling, di ba? Kaya inaano namin pa, how would English speaking people express kilig?
Yeah, there are two ways, you know, people would say, oh my gosh, you know, I just couldn't breathe. You know, if you're in love or when you're like infatuated, right? Another one would be sort of, oh my gosh, you know, this person is blushing. Right? So then that means you are really kinikilig.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Joy is blushing, you know, Christy is blushing. And so then, you know, it's more of, you can see it, right? Whereas I think in the Filipino culture, you know, you don't like, it's not a unspoken. You can actually say, kinikilig ako. We have a word for it. Whereas at least in my understanding of the American culture, you know, you just don't say that. You know, you just like turn red, or you're again, you know, you have this burning sensation about things. Yeah, you don't just like, you don't have a word for it. You sort of keep it to yourself.
Well, according to the translation in Tagalog to English dictionary, shudder. Hindi rin no?
Oo, shudder. Parang
shuddering.
more of fear yun
Thrill
more of fear.
Exhilarating.
Yeah.
Yun lang, very weak translation really. It doesn't really
capture
perfectly translate what is being talked about. Kasi yung kilig kasi parang napapasigaw ka na parang napapaganyan ka na lahat na.
Yeah. Oo.
Parang ganun.
Kilig, di ba? Talagang pag nakita mo yung crush mo or ganyan. Kilig.
Okay. You don't have to blush kasi sa Pilipino naman wala na blush natin.
Oo. Tsaka kasi minsan yun ba yung pag limbawa pinupuri ka. Tapos di ba yung alam mo yung mga Filipinos minsan hindi tayo marunong mag-receive ng compliment. Di ba parang kilig yarn, di ba? Sasabihin pa rin iba, kilig yarn. Di ba? Parang kasi you know, you like to have that wide grin, pero pinipigilan mo, di ba? Yung ganon.
Right, yeah. Kilig.
Okay, next word.
Ang kilig hindi naman necessarily romantic, right?
Yes, hindi kailangan. Yun nga, pag halimbawa, pwede nga, kaya sabi ko, pag pinuri ka, di ba? Ng isang tao, tapos, kilig yan, di ba? You get a commendation from your boss. Ayan, pwede ka rin kiligin.
Oh, please. Sense. Parang ganon, di ba? Hindi pa rin.
Kaya nga mahirap talagang walang talagang one word talaga for itong listahan natin, ito yung mga mahirap nga i-translate in one word. So talagang you have to explain it in its context.
Kailangan
kaya ang natin dito is how would English speaking people express itong mga ganitong bagay. Okay, so moving on to our next word. Ito hindi na emotion. Ito, pasma. Ayan, pasma. Di ba dito sa atin pagka halimbawa may kasambahay tayo, di ba? Tapos kailangan ang pagpaplansya huling-huli niyang gagawin sa gabi. Kasi pag nagplancha siya ng maaga, hindi siya pwede maghugas, hindi siya pwede maglaba kasi nga natin mapapasma, 'di ba? So pag tayo may kasambahay, palagi nga natin ang pagpaplantsa sa gabi na, 'di ba? Yung magpapahinga na siya bago siya magpahinga kasi para hindi siya mapasma. Okay. So diyan ba may pasma ba diyan?
Wala. I mean, I grew up, like when I was like in elementary school, or, my mom is always like putting things on my back. And she always, para hindi ka mapasma. And so
Like what would she put?
powder or like white shirt or something, sa likod mo kasi daw baka mapasma ka, ganyan. Yung nasama ka, yung mga namamlansya, kailangan wag kang magplansya sa umaga. Kailangan sa gabi para hindi ka na maghugas ng kamay. It's like,
because uniquely Filipino.
yeah,
Para siyang
definitely.
bang tepoing ng Pilipino, Kasi wala naman yun eh. The kids here, after gym, they go straight na shower na.
Yeah.
Sa pawis yun, Diretso na sa shower. Like athletes here, right? They go straight.
Yeah.
Pilipino, hindi pwede yun. Papasma ka.
Kahit siguro walang scientific explanation. Basta yun ang
Well, my kids are athletes, right? So when they were younger in high school and, they're runners. So when they come home, they take a bath right away. And I remember I was always worried that they'll get pasma. So I always say, you're going to get sick. Because I don't have a word for it. You guys are going to get sick. You know what you guys are doing? And they're like, why? Why will I get sick?
Yeah.
Because, your pores are open. I try to scientifically explain, when you're sweating, your pores are open. And so then you take a bath and the cold bath water, will go into your open pores and, block whatever, and then you're going to get sick, But they're like, Mom, there's no scientific explanation to that.
I know. Yeah. And do you know anyone who died of pasma? I don't think so.
Yeah. So dapat siguro, siguro kasi nga medyo part of our pagiging superstitious ba? Yung concept ng pasma, di ba? Pero hanggang ngayon yun, hanggang ngayon, kahit medyo bata-bata, talagang naniniwala sa pasma, no?
Yeah, mayaman mahirap naniniwala sa pasma.
Oo. Kaya nasabi ko nga, di ba, ang kasambahay talaga, last chore niya ang pamamlansya. Kasi nga iniingatan natin na wag mapasma. Kaya kung baka sasabihin natin, pag halimbawa yung nagpa-plancha, alam mo maghuhugas ka, di ba? Pakagalitan natin. Parang nang iisa naman ito, di ba? Parang ganun ang natin na ang aga-aga nagpa-plancha ka na. Alam mo maghuhugas ka pa mamaya.
Ano ba yung pasma? Ano ba yun?
Yun na nga, I don't know. Wala tayo.
Yung yata nanginginig ba yun? Yung nanginginig?
Yun ang parang gano'n ang inaano nila na if you do that all the time, yun nga, pwedeng yun nga mag-cause ng equivalent nung panginginig ng sa Parkinson siguro, ganyan. Uy, pero yung sinabi mong walang namamatay sa pasma, meron kaming mga kamag-anak na talagang yun ang paniwala nila na yun ang ikinamatay nung isang isang loved one nila kasi galing daw sa biyahe matagal nagbiyahe kasi alam mo naman ang traffic dito sa Pilipinas, so parang inabutan yata ng 3 hours yung kanyang pagko-commute, tapos diretso na ligo. Tapos nung pagkaligo namatay. Maganda sigurong i-research yan kung ano nga ba talaga
ngayon, di ba, ngayon pinopromote pa nga ng mga CrossFit, mga athletes na after you have a rigid workout, you dip yourself in ice water. Yun pa nga ngayon yung pinopromote ngayon. Yeah, it's actually a healthy thing na it's good for your heart, good for your skin, lahat na. Pero you should dip
warm water?
Oo, kumari pawis ka, no? Katatapos mo lang workout. You have to jump in a ice parang tub or parang malaking balde. Pumunta ka doon. puro ice yon and water. Pero dapat mga, I don't know, X number of minutes lang.
Yeah.
Just enough
Oo.
to,
Oo, kasi baka mapulmonya ka naman.
So, hindi pa pwede sa Pilipino yung papasma ka.
Oh, yun, pulmonya naman. Ang abutin mo pagka ano, pag naglublob ka sa malamig. Okay. So, siguro
Yeah,
dapat magandang i-research din natin kung ano yung pasma na yun.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that whether we believe it or not, I still think that traditionally the older generation kind of has a way of protecting themselves from all kinds of diseases in the past, right? So
Yeah.
maybe there is some kind of a benefit to not doing so that you can, para hindi ka mapasma, right?
Yeah, we should ask our Filipino doctors if they believe in pasma. I should ask my doctor friends what they think about
that would
pasma.
be really cool, kind of do an informal survey.
Yeah. Yun, siguro yung concept na parang wala namang mawawala kung ano, parang gano'n, di ba? Wala namang mawawala kung hindi, kung sundin mo. Dahil baka mamaya meron talagang effect, no? The same thing, pag halimbawa yung nagko-computer buong araw, syempre, na-eye strain, di ba? So we tell our kids, huwag ka kaagad maliligo right after being in front of the computer for an extended time, di ba? So sabihin natin, i-rest mo muna yung mata mo. So I think parang ganun din yung concept ng sa pasma na you have to rest first before you get wet. Yeah. Joy, I'm sorry, you were saying something?
Yes, it's okay. Nakita ko to, pasma, the word pasma originated from the Spanish word espasmo, which means spasm.
Spasm, yeah.
Dun nang galing pasma.
Oo. Pero ibang-iba naman yung spasm sa atin, di ba? Bawa, muscle spasm, ganyan. Hindi naman din yun yung context na ng Filipino sa yung ng pasma. Okay, moving on. Our fifth word for the day is pagpag. Ayan, pagpag. So, iba-iba na rin ang meaning ng pagpag, no? So, yung pagpag muna na verb, okay, pagpag mo yung damit mo, pagpag mo yung blanket mo, so parang, shake off the dust, the dirt, okay, from your, Pero meron din tayong pagpag, yung sa pagkain, di ba? Are you aware of that? Yung mga mahihirap, yung mga basurero, di ba? Sometimes they would scavenge the garbage for leftover food, Okay? Tapos especially halimbawa yung mga tinatapon ng mga fast food chains, ganyan. Ayun. Tapos they would gather yung medyo may laman-laman pa na and then they would boil that for a long time or probably refry it para daw mamatay yung germs, yung bacteria, and then they would eat that, and that is what we call pagpag. So syempre dyan walang pagpag, wala makakain ng pagpag dyan.
Meron na rin pero hindi naman siya leftover. Kumbaga sa mga grocery stores na hindi yung mga expired
surplus
they're not supposed to sell it, and so they put it in the garbage, and so then a lot of people go and scavenge and get it. There's actually a Filipino YouTuber in New Jersey who would actually go to the back of the garbage bins of restaurants and then get all these like expired eggs and stuff, and then niluluto niya tas binibenta niya. Pero it's like it's illegal, right? You can do that, sell it. So gumagawa siya ng mga leche flan, mga ganyan. Tapos inaano niya sa YouTube. But
tapos may bumibili sa kanya after niya i-expose na expired yung mga ingredients niya.
Mga Filipinos din.
Well, that's sad.
That's kind of sad, right? Yeah. Yes. So para din siyang pagpag. Then, a lot of the more liberal communities, who are, kasi di ba dito sa States, marami talagang the biggest garbage or would be like leftover food, like food that you can't sell. So then how do you reduce that, right? So, so kahit nakakalungkot yung pagpag, parang wow, talaga naman, innovative talaga yung mga Filipinos. Kahit mahirap ka, kung gusto mong kumain ng fried chicken, pumunta ka lang doon, tapos ipagpag mo, nilutuin mo or whatever. Siyempre, yung protein niya, you cooked it so many times, it's probably not there anymore, right? And then it could actually be bacteria-ridden too, right? So it's not, in terms of public health, it's dapat hindi kumakain ng pagpag ang mga Pilipino. Otherwise, you end up with all kinds of bacteria in your stomach. If the kids are eating it, they probably end up with worms, or, all kinds of diseases.
Tsaka I don't know if you've heard yung context naman ng pagpag na kailangan, like parang pag galing ka halimbawa sa patay, ganyan. Diba? Parang magpagpag ka muna, you don't go home directly. Oo. Yeah. Parang magda-drop by ka muna ng somewhere, Parang kasama sa pagpapagpag din.
In-explain ko yan sa sa mga kamag-anak kong superstitious nung namamatayan. Sabi nila, para daw malito yung bad spirit, you don't go home right away. Ililito mo. Okay?
Yeah.
Nililigaw.
Oo, parang gano'n.
Baka lang sinundan ka, gano'n.
Oo, kaya liligaw mo siya. Kaya don't
para hindi malaman ng bahay mo.
Diba?
Kaya pag marami tayong na parang, teka, wala namang sense, pero anyway, ginagawa pa rin ng mga Pinoy.
Oo, ginagawa yan.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, like,
okay, next word. Ato, baduy. Meron ba yan counterpart dyan? Baduy. You remember that song? Ang boyfriend kong baduy. Baduy. Ano ang baduy dyan?
Parang uncool.
Uncool, yeah.
Unfashionable.
Yeah.
Yes, yan. Pag walang
sense of
fashion sense, talagang ganon. Yun ang baduy.
Poor fashion taste, parang ganon. Pero hindi pa rin
Kasi parang the word baduy is more like a slang, right?
Medyo, slang. Although ngayon hindi na masyadong ginagamit nung generation ngayon yung term na baduy. Siguro mas sa generation natin yung baduy. Kaya nga yung song na kinanta ko kanina, di ba, yung I'm boyfriend kong baduy. Di ba? So,
alam mo kung bakit,
Christy? Ganyan. Yes.
Alam mo kung bakit hindi na ginagamit ng young generation?
Kasi jologs na.
Kasi baduy na sila.
Baduy na sila lahat. Yeah.
Akala ko kasi hindi na baduy, kundi jologs na.
Hindi, kasi ngayon, the more baduy, the more cool you are. Ganun na ngayon Yung parang, the more eccentric ka, the more baduy ka, mas maganda. Kaya parang hindi nila ganang ginagamit yun.
Yeah. Yung spectrum sa fashion, malawak na. Diba? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, ito lang talaga, this is what's cool and not cool, ganyan.
Yeah.
Diba?
Kasi sa generation natin, meron tayong kino-conform noon diba? Ito ang uso, ganun. Ngayon, wala nang ganun.
Yeah, that is true. Kasi nung panahon natin, parang lahat tayo gusto natin maging preppies.
Yeah.
Sort of that, yung conformity to what we think, is fashionable, right? Kasi ngayon talagang self-expression is something that's valued. So yung pagiging badoy is, tama ka, Joy, lahat sila badoy sa tingin natin.
Oo, sa tingin natin.
Tapos tayo naman na ang suot lang natin neutral color. Tayo yung badoy ngayon para sa kanila. Kasi hindi na tayo cool, right? Yeah.
For example, have you seen Harry Styles?
Yeah.
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 Sobrang baduy. As in,
sa panahon natin,
ngayon, kung titingnan natin ngayon, I will never allow my son to wear whatever Harry Styles is wearing. Kasi napakabaduy talaga. Mga bulaklakin na, ewan ko ba? Orange, tapos papartneran na ng green, mga ganun ba? Pero ngayon cool yun. It's cool.
And that is true. I
Parang
noticed.
counterpart ni Kuya Germs.
Para gano'n. Para siya si Kuya Germ talaga. Gwapo nga lang siya.
That's true. Even my children now, both my children, my son especially, he just wears whatever. He doesn't want to conform to sort of that fashions of that's more traditional. So siya, okay lang. Tapos sila nung girlfriend niya, they exchange clothes back and forth, I guess. So it's like, it's weird, right? Kasi ako parang, plain color, no bright color, mga ganyan. Black lang dapat, blue lang talaga dapat yung boys, tapos pink lang yung girls. Hindi na pala ganun, it's really, and I see that with my students too. My students really, they wear whatever they want.
Kaya nga, baduy na nga lahat.
Pero kasi yung baduy, pwede rin na hindi lang din sa fashion, di ba? Noon, inaano natin ba sa pagsasalita? Ay, baduy naman, di ba? Lalo na pag yung mga taga-exclusive schools, tapos they look down on others, di ba? Yung pagsasalita, ay, ang baduy, pag yung mga time first, di ba? Di ba? Pag imbis na pag time first, di ba? Time purse. Diba? So yung mga pagka hindi maganda mag-pronounce, ay ang baduy, ganyan, di ba? So yun yung ano na. So kaya nga yung sabi ko, yung baduy parang may pagka-jologs din, di ba? O sige, so anuhin natin yung baduy, let's say jologs.
Yeah, what is jologs?
Jologs is baduy.
Yeah, but jologs is parang medyo, yun nga, lower, parang medyo low class na ano.
Parang cowboy ka at the same time. Jologs naman ako. Okay lang ako dito matulog. Mga ganun, di ba? Ginagamit din yun, yung word na jolog.
Jologs. Yun. Parang medyo low class yung ano ng jologs.
Yeah. Like you also use baduy or jologs. Kunwari, yung wedding, hindi siya, or when people like mga nouveau-riche na mga tao, na hindi sila elegant, ang ano nun is baduy or jologs, di ba?
Americans.
Tama, parang opposite of elegant.
Yeah.
Parang gano'n.
In America, Americans are very informal, like I think in my university, I dressed up more professional just because I look younger, So when I was new here, I would dress up really nicer, more, a lot nicer or more professional than my colleagues. Just because I'm as Asian, you look younger, and so you want your students to kind of respect you, right? But really, baduy sila lahat, It's like, really, it's very, nobody wears what I'm wearing like this, not unless there is like a program, but everybody just comes in their t-shirts,
Yeah.
Wala nang babadoy pa sa Canadian.
Wala nang babadoy pa. Akala ko yung mga Amerikano ang badoy kasi parang yun yung stereotype pag nag-travel ka, tumingin ka lang ng mga badoy, yun na yun. Tapos kung punta ka sa Las Vegas, kung sino yung mga Europeans. Kasi naka-black dress sila, high heels, yung mga anak nila naka-shirt and tie, ganyan. Tapos yung mga Amerikano naman, naka-shorts, naka-baseball cap, It's like totally, we're so baduy. And you said Canadians are baduy too.
Oo, kasi winter Ano pa ipoporma mo sa winter? Ano na lang mag-grab mo? Ganun mga itsura namin. Parang may mga woke up like this. Ganun ang ano namin.
Kung hindi winter, halimbawa, spring or summer.
Hindi maporma ang Canadian. And another thing, ang difference ng American and Canadian, ang American na babae, nagme-makeup, mascara, nag-aayos sila. Ang Canadian hindi. Simple. Napaka-simple ng mga babae.
That is true. Kasi pero yung pananamit is like, it's really, mga estudyante ko, they come in their PJs.
Yeah.
or they call it lounge pants or something. You know, they just don't dress up nice. Kaya, pero pag may mga oral presentations, I tell them to dress up nice. Just because it's like, you know, it's additional 5 points if you dress up. Also because I'm teaching them to be more professional. And obviously you don't wear like lounge pants. Although lahat na yung mga big companies in the US, you know, yung mga desk nila, hindi na regular desk, kundi, you know, they can sit on the floor. You know, there is now, you know, day bed right there. You know, it's kind of really unconventional. Hindi na kagaya noon, right? So,
Sa experience ko naman, compliant naman ang mga Americans sa ano, sa kung ano yung halimbawa nakaano na attire, 'di ba? Usually they follow, 'di ba? Yung kung ano yung suggested attire.
Yes, sa diplomatic offices, because you know my son was a Peace Corps, right? So sabi niya, oh, I would never work in, you know, in the State Department and be consular officer overseas. And I said, why? May dress code sila.
Yes,
they are required to be like professional.
Okay, next word, epal. Well, epal is actually slang for mapapel. No?
Okay,
so,
explain what is mapapel.
Oh, Joy, ikaw muna.
Explain natin eh.
Hindi ko alam eh.
Explain it in
sa trabaho, we call it brown noser, right? Eager beaver, yung nagpapalakas sa boss.
Yeah.
Yan,
what's the first word that you said, Joy? Brown
noser.
It's my first time to hear that.
A brown noser means you're kissing the ass of your boss.
Oh.
That's why your nose is brown.
Oh, okay. Brown noser.
Is that maybe Canadian yan? First time ko ding marinig.
Oo, definitely. It's my first time. Yes.
Palaging ginagamit yan. Oh, he's such a brown noser. Yun. Or, ano yung isang sinabi ko? Eager beaver. Yung ano siya.
Eager beaver.
Oh, eager beaver. I've heard that.
Ginagamit din yun sa school, di ba? Pag nagpapa-teacher's pet ka. Eager beaver nito, di ba?
Yeah.
So, eager beaver kasi parang may pagkasipsip. Yun yung
yes.
Epal is the counterpart, somewhat, the equivalent of sipsip.
Okay. But liquor.
Pero kasi yung epal, you're not really, hindi ka naman talaga nagpapalakas to someone in authority. Pwede kasing ganun hindi naman kundi yung nagpapakilala ka lang.
Attention seeker.
You just want to be known.
Attention seeker.
Yes, yan. So you join everything, you want to be in everything, gusto mo ikaw bida. Kaya pag sinasabing ganyan, you want to take credit for something na hindi man yan, epal. Ang epal kasi.
So negative siya. Hindi lang
negative.
Kumbaga hindi lang siya, it's not kind of a joking word or, you just, it's really a serious word and say, pa-epal.
Yes.
But it's a slang of someone who does that.
It's short for nagpapalapad ng papel. Yun, epal. Nagpapalapad ng papel.
Okay.
So yun, parang tayo-tayon, nagpapalapad ng papel. It's an idiom, a figure of speech, di ba?
Okay.
Volunteer ng volunteer. Yan. Epal yan.
Yan, epal.
Volunteer ng volunteer.
Oo. Basta yung gusto niya nasa lahat siya. Yun nga. Yun, epal. Okay. So, wala ding wala parang ang hirap din i-explain. Hindi mo diba in one word. Pero siguro, yung parang pinaka-equivalent na nga yung nyo rin is yung sabi mong brown noser. Parang yung eager beaver kasi parang medyo may pagka-positive pa yung eager beaver diba? Kasi nga eager kasi is is positive kung tutuusin. Pero yung brown noser, yun siguro parang equivalent nga ng sip-sip. Yung brown noser. Yeah.
So
next
it's like
word.
In the US, I've heard people say you're a bootlicker.
Yeah.
Like you lick someone's boots.
Yeah.
So instead of your butt.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Para lang medyo mas disimulado.
Yeah.
Instead of using A, then tawag dito, boot na lang.
Good letter.
Okay.
Mas polite.
Yes. Okay, eto, next word. Bitin.
Ayan, mahirap.
Bitin. Di ba? Pag yung parang fell short of
Okay.
something, of what?
Fall short of, yeah.
Oo.
Tama.
Like
Yun
for
ang
example,
ng
if we
bitin.
visited each other pero na very short yung visit, you say, bitin naman
Yes.
to, right? Yeah.
Oo, bitin. Oh, we should do this again. Kasi bitin, nakakabitin. The same thing also with sa ending, no? Pag halimbawa, you're watching.
Oh, the movie.
Oo, yeah. Pag parang, ay, bitin! Ganyan. Parang you were expecting
Ending pa
something
yan.
more. Ba't ganun yung ending? Bitin,
Okay.
di ba?
That makes
Oo,
sense.
so yun.
Parang
So
yan,
how
it's
would you
like
say
a
that?
longing for more. You're longing for more. Kasi pwede mo rin sabihin na, ang tagal naman ako sagutin ito, bitin na bitin na, kung hindi ako sinasagot
Yeah.
nito.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pero yun, halimbawa doon sa movie, how would you say bitin? Like you're watching this movie tapos yung ending ganun tapos parang 'di ba? Yun nga, Filipinos would say bitin. Nakakainis. Binitin ako. Nabitin
that's
ako.
very cultural, Christy.
Yeah.
Kasi ang
Yeah.
Pilipinos kasi gusto natin yung pag magtatapos na gusto natin ikasal yung kakasal yung mga bida, magkakaanak sila. Gusto natin naman, we want the movie to sort of tie a bow, di ba? Hindi naman lahat ng movie gano'n. In fact, kaya sa atin lang nanggagaling yung, ay, bitin. Parang kasi, ba't gano'n? Hindi mo lang sinabi kung ano nangyari dun sa ganyan-ganyan. Ano ba sabihin nun? Naglakad pala yun. Ano ba sabihin nun? Mga gano'n. Hindi, kultura natin yun eh. Hindi tayo sanay sa mga ganong ending na movie. I think.
It's like the movie Inception, where you don't know exactly what the reality is, which one was, which one is real, what actually is the scene, which one is real. So yung mga Filipinos, like they'll say, nga, tama ka, bitin naman yan. But, some ending would just be weird, right? Like, okay, so that's the ending. So now you create the ending yourself. Kung ano man yung naisip mo na ending, yun na yun, right? So with Americans, you just say, oh, that's kind of a weird ending.
Ay, sabihin nyo lang, that's it?
Yeah, it's like, or that's it? Tama ka nga. That's it?
That's it? Yun na yung parang pinaka-counterpart nung bitin.
Pero meron din kasing ibang meaning yung bitin na artistic. For example, you want it to be a cliffhanger. For example, sabihin mo na, gusto ko yung yung ending nito, gusto natin bitin. Ganon. So there's a cliffhanger. So yun naman ang ibang, another meaning of bitin. Right? Pero ding bitin yung pantalon. Iba rin ang...
Oo, tama.
Padoy na yun, right?
Hindi eh.
Ngayon, hindi na. Uso na ngayon, yung bitin.
Yeah.
Tama. So, yun ang parang, bitin, pag translate mo, I think, pag linagay mo siya sa translator, mangyayari is short of. Fell short of. Ganyan.
Fell short of,
Pero, yun ang pero, yun nga, syempre, contextually, mag-iiba-iba kung ano yung ng bitin. Okay.
Yeah.
Another. Okay, next word. Bangungot. Parang it seems easy pag inisip mo yung bangungot lang as nightmare.
Nightmare.
Diba? Oo. Pero there's something more to bangungot, especially yung medically yung bangungot phenomenon. Pag halimbawa namatay, bigla, someone who's in the pink of health, tapos namatay, tapos hindi nila mahanap yung cause of death. Tapos minsan, nila, bangungot phenomenon. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah. And the bangungot phenomenon is mostly men.
Yes. Tapos sabihin nila, natulog yung parang ang naging common findings was natulog ng busog.
Yan na naman, kasama ng pasma.
Hindi, pero parang ito yung, meron akong na-come across na medical literature before, yun nga, about bangungot phenomenon, na yun yung parang common nila, na ba't ina-attribute nila sa bangungot phenomenon. Kasi nga, hindi pa nila mahanapan siguro ng word na so yun. So yun ang parang is usually men in the pink of health, medyo bata pa, tapos yun na nga, natulog ng busog. Kaya yun ang so usually nga kasi sinasabi natin, pag busog ka, huwag ka kasi matutulog, di ba? Dapat yun yung yun yung dapat na parang ng parameters ng ng bangungot na
I think that's also cultural kasi tilang mo yung mga Mexicans, they have siesta, right? Right after they eat, matutulog sila. Even the Arabs, right, usually merong gap yan na kakain sila tapos matutulog sila. Ang traditional Islamic working hours is 9 to 1, right? Tapos 1 to 4, uwi sila, kakain, matutulog. Babalik ulit 4 to 7. Ganyan ang working hours sa Islamic, which Dubai doesn't follow. Pero most ng Islamic, they take a break, parang siesta nila, 1 to 4. Kasi pagkakain, matutulog sila. Pero sa atin, bawal yun, sa Pilipino. Pag busog ka, wag kang matutulog. Mababangungot ka.
Yeah, tama. Actually, ang Spain hanggang ngayon, di ba? Parang
hanggang ngayon.
Yung most shops between 2 to 5, di ba? Kasi talagang everybody halos talaga nagsisiesta. Kumbaga talagang yun yung part of their culture na hindi na bago.
Yeah.
Pero hindi ko alam na gano'n sa Saudi Arabia, gano'n din pala sa Islamic world na
Middle
may
East,
siesta rin pala sila.
Meron.
Okay. That's something new and interesting that I learned today.
Depende sa Pilipino yun kasi uwi ka, ang traffic.
Oo, tsaka ang init. Diba? Yun ang pinakamainit na oras kaya parang ang hirap din matulog, pawis-pawis ka. Tapos syempre, yung mga employers hindi papayag na sleeping on the job. Yeah, so hindi talaga pwede. Okay. Okay, and our last word for today, windang. Yan. Windang. Okay. Alam niyo ba yung windang? Usually, pag yung windang is like, for example, you give instructions to someone, tapos hindi nasunod, parang ganyan. Ay, naku, yung na-mess up yung instructions, ganyan. Ay, naku, nagka-windang-windang na. Ganyan, di ba yung ganon? So, yun ang ng
Meron din
windang.
isang meaning ang windang, I think. Lagi kong itong nakikitang word na to sa, chismis Nawindang siya. Nalaman niyang may kabit ang asawa niya, ganun-ganun. The windang is
parang,
also
parang naloka.
flabbergasted o parang stunned na parang grabe, ganun. Windang. Yun ang nakikita ko palagi sa mga tabloid.
Yeah.
Windang siya.
Yeah. Another use of windang. Pero kasi ako yun nga, pagka we usually use at work, yun nga, windangers kasi, pag halimbawa merong hindi naka-deliver on time or mali yung gawa, ganyan, windang kasi, ganon. Windang, lutang, di ba? Ganon. So usually, yun ang mga So, diyan, pag halimbawa yun nga, hindi naka-perform, hindi naka-deliver ng dapat i-gawin. Tapos yun nga, ang mo is, kasi parang lutang how would you say that?
There are different ways, it could be something like, he was confused, which is what we just talked about earlier, or just really unfocused, just couldn't focus,
Pwede rin. Yeah.
Absent-minded.
Yes. Okay,
it's
correct.
another way of being absent-minded, maybe.
Yeah. So parang combination ng lahat na yun.
Yeah.
Absent-minded, confused, no focus, yon. So yan, windang. Windang kasi. Yan. Correct.
Parang kasi yung windang parang na-trance Parang, alam mo yun?
Yeah.
Oo.
Parang nadapuan ka ng masamang espiritu.
Windang.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
correct
it.
me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Christy. But Windang is pretty new, right? It's not an old.
Yeah, medyo may pagka slang din siya or colloquial, yung windang.
So I don't think that existed in the 90s. Wala akong naririnig na Windang.
Oo. Yeah. Siyempre, alam mo naman ang language, ever evolving. So, yun, mga palaging merong bagong words na nadadagdag.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's true with Filipino.
Yes.
Because we don't have a lot of words. So it's really easy for us to create new words. And I think that's why it's becoming kind of part of our culture, is to keep creating new words just because we don't have a lot of words, right? And so then how do you explain, di ba kasi tayo, every root can become a verb, noun, and adjective, right? So, and so then yung mga bagong experiences ng mga tao, yung mga pagbabago sa kultura, we have to create new words to describe them, right? So noon naman hindi pa naman parte ng culture ng mga Pilipino, or even the rest of the world, yung pagiging attention deficit, yung mga ganyan, mga na-stress siya, or parang noong panahon natin, when we were working at the camp, meron bang na-stress sa atin, parang masaya tayo palagi.
Hindi pa masyado uso ang stress nun.
Yes, yeah. Hindi pa talaga uso, yeah.
I think a lot of the words that we have been discussing, a lot of that is very cultural. Kaya ang hirap i-explain. Like one time I asked my son, kasi parang may niniligawan siya, sabi ko, nagpahaging ka na ba? Tapos, ang hirap i-explain. Like he was saying, what do you mean? Tapos sabi ko, paano ba i-explain? Yung papahaging ka, pero hindi pa masyadong diretso, di ba? Hindi mo pa liligawan, pero pahaging ka lang. Hindi ko explain.
You're just letting the person know about your feelings, pero without really saying it. Parang ganon, di ba?
Pero that's very cultural. Hindi naman po pwede. Yung anak ko parang, ba't ko pa gaganon? I can just tell her. Ganon naman yung anak ko. Parang, hindi niya gets, right? Kasi, pura natin nun yung papahagingan muna, ganon. Bago mo sabihin. Ganyan.
Kasi di ba, in the Filipino culture, marami tayong mga bagay na hindi talaga diretso. So, kumbaga, hindi na yung sagot, pero ayaw nating humindi. So, ganyan, titignan natin. Baka sakali, sabihin mo nang hindi na. Pero it's just like, there's like 20 ways of saying no, right? So, it's kind of that indirect way of expressing yourself, right? Hindi kagaya dito sa America, just say it. Right.
Kaya walang translation.
Yeah. Kasi sa Filipino culture, it's like, don't say it. That would be really disrespectful. Right? Hindi sa atin dito, sa States, at least in the American culture that I know, it's like, it's okay for you to say what you think. And then don't expect people that they read your mind. I always tell the Filipinos that. If you have questions, ask the questions. Yeah.
Di ba sa Amerikano or sa North America, di ba lagi sinasabi ng parent, answer me, talk to me, di ba? Answer me, look at me.
Tell me what you think.
Sa Filipino, hindi. What sasagot-sagot ka? Ganun naman ako. Baliktad. Dapat ka tumingin sa akin, sasagot-sagot ka. Sampaling kita dyan, di ba ganun? So, doon pa lang iba na
that's true.
Dynamics
Because I think that was part of my, not really a conflict, but really that was really hard for my parents before when my kids were young, because we taught them to use words, that you don't like to do any kind of tantrum somewhere, you just talk about your feelings, you tell us what you think, that's very American. But my dad, was really critical. He was like, your kids are thinking aloud so much. Yeah.
Okay. Ito pwede talagang lumawig na talaga ang daming pwedeng pag-usapan when it comes to language and culture. Okay, but doon na muna tayo. Hindi naman bitin, pero meron pa naman kasing kasunod, no? Marami pa tong pwede pang mag-evolve tong series na to, okay? So, To wrap up, we just would like to thank you again for your time, and we hope that you learned much from our discussion today. Sana marami kayong napulot sa aming pag-uusap. Okay, so maraming salamat. Paalam!
Paalam, huwag mapasma.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.